Hi, thank you for joining us. This is Sheena Leedham, content coordinator of elitefts. I'm here with Julia Ladusky. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
So first and foremost, congratulations on your 6th place.
Yes.
It was a tie.
It was a tie for 6th out of 15, yes.
Very good. And I first and foremost want to know, how did you come across that whole thought of getting into figure?
I guess that over the last couple years, just as my body composition has changed, I really started to pay more attention to diet for performance, for my powerlifting. And I just noticed that, I was maintaining the same weight, but I was definitely getting leaner, putting on some good muscle mass. So the thought had crossed my mind about a year ago, and it was a quick thought, and then it was gone. So decided to just continue with powerlifting and trained for the Arnold, which I did in March. And just before the Arnold, I had talked to John Meadows and just kind of said, what do you think? Should I give it a shot? And of course, he was all gung-ho for it. So I think it was just a matter of trying something new, seeing what my body could do, pushing to the limits a little more on the other side, and just a different challenge. So ready for something new after 15 years of powerlifting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a few phrases, and I'd like for you to just tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
So, first thing, chucks to heels.
Back to chucks. Definitely. So.
Back to chucks.
Yep.
Kiefer to Meadows.
Two different animals. Two different means to a different end, I think. Yeah.
And at this point, do you have a preference?
A lot of people have been asking that, and I think the way that I ate before, which is more of a carb backloading approach, I definitely had more energy throughout the day, but I don't think that's John Meadows' diet. It's, when you look at prepping for a figure show, as you know, it's an extreme end. So, when you're talking about trying to get to an extremely low body fat percentage, diet is going to be a little extreme. There are definitely concepts of John's that I really like. I think John is fantastically smart, and his pre and intra and post-workout nutrition was huge for me. I think that was really important. I only lost 4 pounds over the course of the prep, but dropped nearly 5% body fat. So, and I think that was really due to that peri-workout nutrition, and able to hold on to a lot of my muscle mass. So those are definitely some concepts that I like. Overall, as far as John, I love John's approach. He looks at it from a health standpoint as well, not just aesthetics, not just perform. There's a lot of other things in there that I just can't say enough things, good things about John. But with Kiefer and carb backloading, I think just because it's an easier maintenance phase for me, and with kids and job, I didn't have to pack meals, I didn't have to be so regimented. I could kind of live a little more maintenance free, and that's definitely more appealing during certain periods of training, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So with your nutrition moving forward, you think you're going to apply some of those principles that you learned from John?
Absolutely, absolutely. I was never much, I usually train in the morning, so I was never much of a pre-workout anything person. I just go in with coffee, which is fine. I've felt great in the past, but that's definitely something that I'll incorporate a little more. I love John's approach too, and he talked about it today, was, people are like, oh, what kind of supplements? Just eating food pre and post workout, just food. And that's something that, do I have shakes during the day, or can I substitute? Yes, I can, but John's really big about just getting good, solid, quality foods in, and I really like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Another phrase I'd like to give to you, press to quarter turn.
Interesting you say that, because the day after the figure show, we were at the compound and I bench pressed. So there's just something about the heavy training, it's so performance based. It's so, it's quantitative. You can hit PRs, you can hit max numbers, you can, for anybody who knows and reads my logs and things on Facebook, I'm just huge on performance-based goals. Which I mean, figure show prep can be, but as we know with judging and perception and the way the body looks, it can be very subjective. There's just something about going in and hitting big numbers yeah. I mean, it's definitely nice to look good on stage in a quarter turn, but the heels, again, I'd probably pick the Chucks over the heels. So yeah.
I recently attended a seminar of yours at Ohio State, and what I took away from your speech was the whole gaining aspect. So, working with females, you're always trying to relay, you have to gain. What are you gaining out of this experience rather than losing, which most women, females, want to lose. So this experience, I know you gained a few things nutritionally wise. Mentally, personally, what are some things that you gained throughout this entire figure experience?
I gained a lot of, not that I didn't have respect for it before, but you gain a lot of respect in the discipline that it takes to prep meals, to plan ahead. Again, with the way I was eating before, it was very easy just to, I knew what I could eat, and if we were out and about, you can just grab things. When you're prepping for this, there's definitely a lot more discipline involved in packing and making sure you have everything set. So you gain a lot of respect in the discipline that it takes. Life, even, does kind of get put on hold a little bit. There's, with kids and jobs, it's definitely, that's the biggest thing I found, was that it was a lot. With powerlifting, it was like I go to the gym, I train, I come home. Again, my diet was kind of maintenance-free, and there was just a lot more to this, a lot more thought, a lot more going into it, and that's definitely, it just makes it, you just got to be more aware of it. So I definitely gained a lot of respect. I definitely gained a lot of knowledge from John. I gained a lot of new training ideas that I think powerlifters can incorporate from bodybuilders. We tend to hit our big movements, or we tend to hit our accessory stuff for a couple sets, and then we go home. But I think some of the concepts that John uses in his training program can be really beneficial for powerlifters, especially for either people looking to put on mass, or even drop a weight class. Some of the volume type stuff that he does. So I definitely gained a lot of knowledge from him there, I kind of just gained a whole new sense of accomplishment, that you can put your body through different things, and if you really put your mind to it, that if you want to powerlift, you just you go for it. Put your nose to the grindstone for 12 weeks and train for it. Put your nose to the grindstone for a figure show and train for it. And excuses are not something that I think a lot of people kind of just go, well, it's okay if I have a cookie here and there. Well, if your goal is your end goal, make it happen. And I think that's something that can be taken away from something as disciplined as this.
And I think something too that's pretty interesting is you went from powerlifting, not knowing too much about figure. So bodybuilding and powerlifting, those are two beasts. But when you're doing something for the first time, that even makes it a little bit more, magnifiable or intense. So
yeah,
that's a lot.
It is a lot, and again, I liken it to it's been years since I've done my first powerlifting meet, so it kind of brought me back to that cycle again of doing something for the first time. Yeah, and you're right, don't know what to expect, and so you kind of go into it blindly. But again, you just like I tell my clients who are doing powerlifting meets for the first time, you just go for the experience, have fun, and move forward.
Right, take what you can and go
exactly.
Yep. I was watching, I know we were going back and forth, you sending me videos of your form. One of the videos that I saw, you were practicing with John, and I could see your daughter in the background just dancing or playing. How do you think she perceived this entire transformation?
It's really interesting that you mentioned that. Kids are more in tune to what we're doing than we realize. People, they typically eat a lot of what we eat. They have their peanut butter and jelly, but it's just part of our lifestyle. They know that training is part of our lives. They come to the gym with us, and they run around and do their thing. As I was dieting, and there were certain things the kids would, Mom, do you want a cookie too? And I'd say no. And so I'd have to explain it. I can't have that. Well, why can't you? Well, I'm doing, this for ease of, I would, call it a bodybuilding show or a bikini show, just so they could understand. Mm-hmm. And they would see me in my suit, but my daughter got so used to it. She was like, my son would ask a question about having a certain food, and my daughter would say, no, Mom can't have that until after her show. Mm-hmm. So I think it was cool for her to see that there's a sense of discipline there, mm-hmm. that, okay, she's doing something for her show, and then once the show is over, she can go back to, having some treats and things. But she did say, we were in the car the other day, and when I asked her, I said, what do you think about Mom doing another show? And she said, that's cool. And I said, would you come watch? And she said, yes, Mom. She said, can I wear my swimsuit and pose with you? So I said, of course you can. So, and some people, I hope, I don't want people to take that the wrong way, but I think kids are so moldable. They see that, and they see that there's discipline. They see that there's, we're training for something, and of course she just, wants to do things that her mom is doing. So, we talk about how being strong is good and having muscles is good, and so that's the kind of image that I want to portray, is that it's not about standing on stage in a bikini and being beautiful. Right. We talk about being beautiful. She says, Mom, can I wear a dress to be beautiful? No, you're beautiful every day, no matter what you're wearing. So that's kind of, the treading lightly on that ground, but just wanting her to understand more the, the discipline side of things and the training side of things. But they thought it was pretty cool. When he showed them pictures of, of me, they said, wow, Mom, they say your muscles are bumpy. So that's the feedback I get.
Yeah, you're hard. That's good. And that's just something too about our society. We see a lot of girls, guys, they might put so much energy into how they look, mm-hmm. but they're not necessarily healthy. They're not going to the gym. So I think instilling that into your daughter at this age, she knows, to get from one level to another. Geez, look how much hard work my mm-hmm. mom put in, or my father. So
exactly,
good lessons there. Yep. So last question here is, what can we see you doing next? What's next on your plate, so to speak?
Next on my plate, well, before this show, I really didn't have plans to compete in powerlifting until the fall. I had done 4 meets over the last 12 months, so my body kind of needed a break mm-hmm. from the heavy training and just the mindset, which is kind of what prompted this figure show. Not sure I'll do a meet in the fall. There's some in October around November time, and just use that as a tune-up meet. I'm already qualified for the Arnold in March next year, so that's kind of off in the distance. Coming off of this figure show, I've talked to John Meadows, and we're pushing 2 more weeks into to do a physique show.
Awesome.
In 2 weeks. So he's sort of, I don't know, not egged it on, but said we could try figure again, and I think just, again, it's just an experience, mm-hmm. just something else to say I did it, and so that'll be fun. So 2 weeks, June 1st.
Awesome. So that's going to be another whole new posing routine that's going to maybe have you come in a little bit harder.
Yes. Yep. Diet is being
exciting.
Pushed a little bit more, which is good. Again, just I'm using it for the experience, mm-hmm. which is awesome. Like I said, I enjoy learning from him. The posing is definitely a little nerve-wracking because it's new poses, but I don't have to wear heels.
Right.
I can't wear Chucks, but I don't have to wear heels. So.
Awesome.
So that's the plan.
Well, thank you for joining me today. And for those of you that are interested in learning how she is progressing, be sure to check out her log, and also check out elitefts. So thank you.